What's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Impel Forward podcast. I am your host, Leon, and I got my co-host Renee. She's back after being missing in action.
I have.
Yeah, you've been missing in action. Got my boy KP. I call him Mr. Pierre. What's going on? Welcome to another episode again of the Impel Forward podcast. What's going on, y'all?
Happy Black History Month.
Yeah, it's the start of Black History Month.
I see Mr. My neighbor over here, my ex-neighbor over here got his shirt on. Yeah.
Muhammad Ali, you know, he got Muhammad. He got a picture in the background too.
Is that one of the ones? Is that one of your
no
specials?
No. That wasn't no. That's not an actively black. This is probably something I had a little while ago.
Okay.
I thought I'd bring it out the closet.
I like it. I like it.
Do you?
Yeah, I had one somewhere. I ain't worked in a long time. I'm kind of
bluish. Yeah, it's a young Ali with that big fist.
Yeah,
getting it
in. Yeah. Black History Month. Here we go again. Another year of Black History. Some people agree with it. Some people don't. Let me see. Do I agree with Black History Month? I think it should be year round. I don't think we really need a Black History Month. We need to be learning Black history all the time. So that's my thoughts on it. Because what is 1 month going to do? Nothing. So yeah,
I think in this current climate, it will do a lot more because a lot of people are not going to want to see it. So now it's almost like you're forced to see it, right? We're putting you in and now I feel like we're doing it even more because we know so many people hate it, right? So now it's just you know every time you turn, it's something. Yeah.
So I think I've heard KP mention this man numerous of times.
Come on now.
So Dr. Carter G. Woodson.
Carter G. Woodson.
He started Black History Month in 1926. It was
Mm-hmm.
originally started Black History Week.
Negro History Week.
Yeah. Was it Negro History Week? Let me see.
Yeah, Negro History Week.
Yeah, that's your boy. You know a lot about him. But let me see. Let me see.
Don't be shading me. Don't be shading me.
Yeah.
He said he believed that if people don't know their history, like you always say, they can be controlled. If people are taught they've never contributed, they'll doubt their own worth. Yes. Now you always say this. If people don't know their history, they can be controlled. And I thought about that while I was looking it up today. We are still being controlled.
To a certain extent.
All these years, we're still being controlled. I think as a human race, we are being controlled. But okay, look, we're gonna stick to the black people though. I think we're still being controlled.
I think some are because they don't want to learn the history, right? As you deal with those people who are like, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear about that. I don't want to watch another slave movie. I don't want to read a book. I don't want to do anything. So therefore, they're paying attention to what's going on now, right? They don't even want to go back 50 years ago and understand what's happening 50 years ago. They're too busy focusing on the right now. So if you don't understand how we got here and you don't want to go back, not even 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, you don't have to go all the way back 400, but either, 20, 40, whatever, then how are you going to know what's real today? Right? So those who don't want to know or understand or don't care to understand, they're being controlled. We see that, right? I see that.
Now, one thing I didn't know either, it says that he chose February because of Frederick Douglass
his birthday.
and Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, ironically.
Now, I know a lot of people.
You got to remember, man, this is 1926, bro, and this was on the heels of you had the Red Summer of 1919, and then you had the Great Migration, and they were still attached to the Republican Party as a whole in how they were actually constructed in the beginning for its emancipation. And so a lot of Black people, including all the way up to the 1950s, were Republicans.
Yeah.
because at that time, that was a party of freedom. It was a party of um, where you can be a man and you can move about the cabin. And so that's why you have a lot of people that were part of our struggle. They were Republicans because the Republican Party, um, I think the Republican Party was founded in 1854, and it was in a revolt to the Democratic Party. They wanted a two-party system. And so, yeah. So that's why you have a lot of black people that, and then you have a lot of black white people that today are, well, the Republicans freed the slaves, and it's like they don't know the history.
Right.
Because if you look at the Great Replacement Theory, or you look at the Southern Strategy, or even the Southern Strategy 2.0, and ushered in Nixon and then Ronald Reagan with Lee Atwater with the Southern Strategy, you'll learn that party shift from the which were the Dixiecrats, which were the ones that switched parties into the Republicans, and here we have the Republican Party today. So I like that you referenced that. I have mentioned Carter G. Woodson as I've been trying to teach the GED section about history.
Yeah.
And why you should know it.
Yeah.
But that goes back to what I always say. Why? What does it help?
I think it helps you better.
If we're still being controlled.
For instance, I was talking to a guy, and he's older. He was older, and he comes from the belief, because he uses that whole, the Democrats used to be the Republicans, and it switched or whatever. And he comes from the mind frame of, whether if you're a Democrat, you still have to vote Democrat. Like if you're a Republican, you have to vote Republican. He doesn't. It's one of those things where you know so much that you don't know. Mm-hmm. Like people are switching to Republican and voting Democrat. People are switching to Republican because they want to be able to be in the know, right? Some of them are just being, what they call drifters. But just because you're affiliated to a party or you're independent, it doesn't mean that you're stuck with that party. But again, because people only know pieces of history,
that part,
they only want to know certain pieces. They try to use it against you in an argument. It's like, you don't even make sense at all.
Yeah. And when we talk about the elder Carter G. Woodson, he rose to fame on establishing Negro History Week, which became Black History Month. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it is he rose to fame on the Miseducation of the Negro, the book that he wrote, The Miseducation of the Negro. And that book details a lot of things that were going on at the time. And it was a forward to what's going on today. And then later he wrote the book of the education and the half that's never told. But Carter G. Woodson, how he was able to get that thing, the Negro History Week to Black History Month, ironically, the Qs, Omega Phi Psi, petitioned him to be an honorary member of their group.
Oh, wow.
And they petitioned him to be an honorary member of the group. And he was like, yeah, I'll be a member, but I need you guys to help me push this information about the Negro History Week. And because they had a big platform, bigger than what he had at the time. Mm-hmm. And so he was able to work through the Qs to get the Negro. So we got a shout out to the Qs on this, Omega Phi Psi on this one. He was able to work through them, and he was like, I'll be an honorary member, because remember, he didn't pledge Q, but he became an honorary member of Omega Phi Psi. And so he was able to get the narrative out there through the Qs. Mm-hmm. And that's how we ended up with Negro History, Black History Month. Right. But his dream, well, I wouldn't say his dream. His premise was that we were to study. His thing was a year-long thing. It was to study and learn the applications of the advancements of the Negro in America at the time. And we were to study it for the 11 months. And then we come into the 12th month, which would be February, which would Negro History Week. And that we would take the collective and talk about the things that we have learned, the things we accomplished for that. So that's why he said, that's why I started off as the Negro History Week. And so that was the premise of how he started it, was like, hey, we're going to talk about the things that we have accomplished throughout that time. And we're going to use this week to highlight those things.
Yeah.
And then it got transformed. And then eventually it became he being the father of Negro, a Black, I mean, I'm drawing a blank here, but Black History Month. So, that's how it came to be. But his dream wasn't about his vision wasn't that we celebrate Black history for 28 days. His dream was that we celebrate Black history throughout the year, and then we come to a reckoning in the week of February to talk about the things that blacks in history have contributed to the society. And we'll discuss these things so that we'll know what we have done, so that we'll know where we need to go. And ironically, man, Carter G. Woodson, Leon talk about it, but I've invoked his name several times in several podcasts, and he got his start. He's out of West Virginia, and in West Virginia, he got his start in those coal mines. In those coal mines, when he was younger, those coal miners could not read. And so they would get him as a young 11-year-old at the time to read the local newspapers. And what he would do was he would go into the coal mines and he would read the events of the day. He would read the newspapers to the folks that could not read.
Right.
And that's how he got his start. And it put that fire in him that he needed to, I need to take this to a bigger stage. But that's how he started. He started reading to those coal miners in West Virginia.
Yeah, say he didn't start high school until his late teens, whatever that means.
Absolutely.
So I guess let me pose the question. So why is it an issue or why is it a big deal with Black History Month? The Hispanics, they have a month.
They do?
Yeah.
They do.
What's their month?
When is it?
May Cinco de Mayo. I will vote.
You can do that.
So they got May 5th, commonly known as Cinco de Mayo.
I think they have other.
Maybe, I don't know.
But they do.
Fight. Yeah, it's not my fight.
But what I have done here says how it helped was it increased awareness and visibility, created space for education, and how it didn't help was it was reduced to surface level celebrations like we have, and then sometimes treated as the only time Black history matters.
Hold on. Latin American month kicks off in September 15th.
Beautiful.
So, yes, they have a month.
What about Cinco de Mayo? Oh, that was their independence from, okay. Yeah. Cinco de Mayo is them celebrating their independence. I don't know.
But I guess,
they're very versed on their history other than that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I do know, but not that.
Yeah. But I guess the bigger question is, why is this such a big deal for us to have a month to just celebrate accomplishments, understand history? I mean, kids grow every day, right? They turn a certain age where you have to remind them of certain things because they don't see people that look like them that invent certain things. So why not have a month of constantly reminding them? Or
Renee, we know the answer to that question, and it has to do with our non-melanated brothers seeing that as a threat. When Carter G. Woodson put out the book, The Miseducation of the Negro, it tackled a lot of things.
Is it the non-melanated, or is it Black people giving it a big ordeal of?
It's Black people not knowing
month, or why do we only get 28 days, or
it's Black folks looking for a red herring in a fight that we should not be fighting. And it's that thing, like, well, they only gave us 28 days. Well, they didn't give us anything. We took it. But I agree with you, Renee. I don't have, the only answer I have is the answer that we know. We know the why. And although Carter G. Woodson his life didn't end in assassination, but he highlighted a lot of things through his books, through his literature, and his education. Because if you read The Miseducation Negro, it would highlight, and then he wrote a foreword to that book, which was the education of the Negro, and a lot of things that he talked about. There was another book that he wrote that I use a lot when I say Negroes in it. The book was The Negroes in Our History, and I will invoke it's the Negro history in history, because you cannot learn about history without learning about the Black struggles in the history of this Americas. So don't make me go there. I've been drinking. I've been drinking a little earlier today.
It's okay, but I think it's also important.
So, Leon, for the sake of saving his podcast, I'm not gonna go there. I can give you a litany of the reasons as to the why.
I appreciate Black History Month. I think it's a great month. You get to hear a lot of things. You get to support. I mean, I support Black businesses all throughout the year, but I feel like Black history, I don't know. I feel a closeness to it.
It is good to see everything highlighted in the month, but it should be highlighted every.
It's not so more. His vision wasn't for us to celebrate a month. It was to celebrate the entirety. And then we convene in the month of February to discuss the things that we have done,
the accomplishments and everything.
The accomplishments and the things that happened before us. If in that week of February, it just morphed into something what we have today. And
but I feel like you do the same thing. You see people posting, I just read a post about a Black ice skater. I forgot her name, who injured herself, and she had to forfeit her medal, but she was one of the only Black ice skaters who did a backflip.
That was Sanara Bogan, I think her name.
I didn't know that, right? So just being
all you gotta do is call your boy.
Yeah, but again, this goes with the part of Black History Month, right? You hear about the most popular people, the Madame C.J. Walker and all of that, but to hear other people and to celebrate other people, there might be a little girl who's ice skating.
Well, she wasn't from America, just for the audience, because we got some haters. Sean,
at the end of the day,
she wasn't American. She was not American. But
where was she?
Was she?
Don't make me lie. God, Samara. She was. Well, she wasn't that. She actually, her family had relocated to France, I think it was, or you know what? Don't make me lie. But she wasn't American, and she was criticized for her broad build and the fact that she can do a backflip that no one could accomplish. She was doing it, and they penalized her
with an injured leg. She injured her leg the day before, and
she would do that backflip in her routine and land on one leg.
Yep.
Not to mention, she was on one leg. She would land on one leg when she do it because of the injury. And that's why I love us. Boy, we so fucking dope. Dope.
What I'm saying is I didn't know anything about it, and it came across my timeline. Now there's little Black girls who ice skate, right? Their parents who probably didn't know, such as myself, it's going to come across their timeline, and they're going to be like, wow, look at this,
Yeah, she was penalized in her routine for doing things that non-melanated people could not do. So they penalized her when she did it. And that's Black girl.
A lot of us show up in, right?
But Renee, you know how I feel. That's Black girl magic. I love my queens. And even if part of the diaspora or part of them relocating to other civilizations, they're still African.
Yeah.
Well, let me take time to do this right here. I want to share this with y'all.
You're gonna do something else.
Yeah, we
This is unplanned. So
nah, this ain't nothing. We're just gonna share this right here. Once again, from
no.
stress to success, mastering money, time, and health. In 2026, we have First Sundays Men building up men to build up our families. It's a men's in-person summit. Saturday, February 21st in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. If you see the QR code right here, you can, you know, take a picture of it, whatever. What you call it? Hit the link. You have you can register at firstsundays12.com. That's firstsundays12.com. You can register right there, or you can hit the QR code. But it's gonna be a great event. You have Marlon Smith, Tony Jackson. Marlon Smith, Tony
Right.
Jackson, and Dr. Michael Diamond. Yeah, so make sure y'all men come out, enjoy the event. Make sure you register.
I think this is pretty cool. Are you gonna be there?
Oh yeah, I'll be there. I'll be in the house.
Men watching men.
No men watching men building up men, man. What's wrong with
I
you,
feel
man?
like this is great. Sometimes you just need an outlet, right?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. It's gonna be a great
Well,
event.
well, it's good because you have a convening of like-minded people that look like you, and so there's nothing but positivity can come from that. So I think it's pretty dope. That's what makes Durham, Chapel Hill, and Raleigh's very special to me, because there's a lot of these things that happen. So I'll allow it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Men, make sure you go get your tickets.
I'll allow it.
Yeah. Moving on. Being pro-black. Can you be pro-black, or should you be so pro-black that you are anti-white? Now I have some friends that I know that they are real pro-black, and I always say, yes, I do have some friends that are real pro-black. But I always say this: you can't be too pro-black if you are working in corporate. The only reason I say that is because you are under the authority of Yeah, you're under the authority of as far as you working in a white corporate world. Put it that way. I'll say that. So ain't no way you can be so pro-black if you still working in corporate.
Leon, that's loaded, bro. That's so not fair. Who he talking to? You? He talking to you, Renee.
I'm just saying. How can you be so pro-black?
Easy.
Well, let me ask the question this way then. Can you be pro-black without being anti-white? I just asked the question.
Absolutely. Yes, me being pro-black does not mean anti-white, and I know that you post that as a question in the chat that we would discuss today. But I would say that honestly, no one who have their weight and their worth would be anti-black. I mean, would be pro-black and anti-white. I don't think no one is that. I don't know anyone that's like that personally. Not saying that may not be the case, but I think that's a small, minute number. Because being pro-black does not mean anti-white. I know in my case, and I know in a lot of people's cases that does not equate to anti-white. There are some righteous whites. Well, hold on, let me say this correctly. Righteous white. You know what I'm saying? Righteous white. There's some righteous whiteness that they are for us, and they are willing to get in the foxhole with us. And for that, we should not denounce those adjacent brothers and sisters. They are out there. Now, is it many? Maybe, but me being pro-black, because I'm a pro-black black man, and I do not discriminate to it doesn't mean anti-whiteness. My pro-blackness simply states that I am aware of who I am, I know who I is, and that my being is not superior to another being, but I am not less than. And that's what my pro-blackness means to me. And I have our non-melanated friends. I have not, it's not many because a lot of them have a lot of friends that I've had that were non-melanated that have taken on the yoke of becoming their parents and turning into Trumpers. And for that, I draw the line. I don't F with them. There's no conversation. There's no communication. And over the years, I have excommunicated myself from them and them from me as well. They have blocked me on social media because they don't like what I say. Because the ones that are not the righteous, when you hold a mirror up to them, they don't like it. They don't like for you to talk about the struggles and the things that our community, they don't want to hear it. Because a lot of times they look at you and they see that you are equal in advancement as to where they are. And they're like, hey, you're on the same level where I am. There's no racism. There's no prejudice that are happening. And I quite honestly, those that are in corporate America, as you and I, Renee, that we can say that there are microaggressions that are there that we were able to identify. We don't say nothing. We just clock that T. You know what I'm saying? So
let me ask you this: do you think being pro-black, as far as do white people themselves look at somebody, say like you're real pro-black? Do you think they look at you as being anti-white?
Yeah, because that's the opposition. Mm-hmm. They go to that as opposition and not really in terms of learning of what I'm saying or why I'm saying it. And if they listen to me and they adhere to what I'm saying, they'll notice that it's not anti-white. It's just me calling a thing. And that's what it is. I never get to that point with certain people that are Trumpers or maggots or MAGAs or even the black MAGAs. I never get to the point to express how I really feel, because if we really talk and reach a level of commonality, we'll realize that we have the same interests and we have the same concerns. But we never get to that because they're so hell-bent on regurgitating these talking points that they hear. And we never get to that. But if we can ever get past that, they'll realize that, all right, okay, so we do agree. We disagree in this area. And it's okay to disagree to agree. And so, but we never get to that. And so that's been my experience. And my other experience is since this next Trump administration, I've drawn a line in the sand. I don't F with none of them. I don't want to engage. I don't want to talk. There's a black man right now, call me old school, that's trying to address me in our chat, and I won't engage him because why? What am I going to tell him that's going to convince him to understand that me and him are we're on the same plane. We just agree on how we get there. And so,
I wish you would pour all of that energy into understanding his history.
Well, one thing about that person, you'll never see them engage with a white person because they're scared of them. All they look to do is scour the internet while they're sitting in the goddamn barbershop and scouring the internet, just looking for black people to attack. And brother, I'm not your enemy. I'm not your enemy.
But it's so weird. I don't know.
It's extremely weird. I don't get it.
What's going on? I hope that you are enjoying this episode, but I wanted to take the time out to ask you to please subscribe to the podcast. I've noticed that a lot of people are watching but are not subscribed. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way you won't miss an episode when it's aired or about to air. And also make sure you go to impelforwardmerch.com. That's impelforwardmerch.com. Grab you something. Now back to the episode.
But I get it. Right. And, the black community do a terrible job, or we do a terrible job at ostracizing a lot of black people within the community. And what I mean by that is a lot of times as black community, when someone is not aesthetically pleasing, they're seem to be overweight, they're black, they're this, they're that, and we use those things against them, and we call them different names, and we ostracize them as a black community, and so we force them into the arms of white adjacent America, and so they find comfort being in that because number one, they're not very attractive, so women don't. They're not very pleasing to the black woman, and then to certain black men that present themselves as very strong and dominant, and we're not inferior to the white man. When we boast of who we are, we come across as, oh, well, you're going against the white people that I'm friends with, and so the black community ostracize these young black men, and so they go to the conservative media and the Fox outlets and whatever it is that they listen to, OEN or whatever, and they find comfort in that, and they turn around and use their attack on me, you, and everybody else when we're not their enemy, but it's comforting to them, and it's some get back, especially black women. I noticed that a lot of those black MAGA dudes that support Trump, they struggle with black women. They struggle.
They do.
Listen, brother, it ain't my fault that you are not pleasingly aesthetic. Get your weight up. Get your money up.
Get your weight down.
Go to the gym. Change your diet. Maybe the black women will find you aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, but the reason I brought this up is because Michael Irvin, he was talking,
and then you on these chats, on these websites, looking for love.
Hold on, man. Be quiet. So our pain, Michael Irvin said this sometimes us as blacks, that's pro-black, he said our pain and emotions come out too much and they keep us out of certain rooms because of our past and what,
That is true. That is true. Because I learned, as Renee learned, in corporate America, you can't be too boisterous, or however you say that word. I'm part of GED section. So sometimes I'm boisterous with B.
That, or you can't be too passionate.
You can't be too passionate. You can't be, you can't be too overt, like about your blackness, about your community. You cannot be that. You have to suppress that. Renee, you and I do it all the time. We have to suppress it in order, because we got to go along to get along. And does that cause us to be shed in a different light? I don't know. I just know that I have to be, as we said in the last podcast, I have to be in survival mode in this Americas. And to be in survival mode, sometimes you're going to have to let some stuff slide so that you can get to the next level. But sometimes getting to the next level, you meet a new devil. And then you deal with that accordingly.
Yeah.
Hey, what's your thoughts?
I would agree. I think with my job, what I find comforting is I'm involved with a lot of the business resource groups. So we have the Black women in corporate America resource groups.
I don't like it.
Being Black in the workplace groups, and we're able to get together once a month, or maybe it's twice a month, and we're able to express ourselves, or, have questions. It's kind of like, and it's ran by Black women in higher executive level positions. And then we have some lower level positions, but it's a great place to vent and express things that you're going through and ask for, ask questions or seek advice. Right. So I have that in my Black women circle group. And then in my Being Black in the Workplace group, it's, it's a group where it's everybody. So it's men and women, and, same challenges are faced. But again, it's, hosted by a lot of, Black men and women in executive level positions all throughout the world. Right. So I think without those different groups, I probably would struggle a lot more. But because I have those, a lot of those women and men to lean on, it makes it a little bit easier because I'm building connections and networking and things like that. And then they have a Black men's one, and then they have a veterans one, and all of these different business resource groups that kind of you can join and do the same thing. So I think those are very helpful. If you have them at your job, I highly, highly, highly recommend.
What about you, Leon?
I am pro-black, but I don't wear it on my sleeve too much. Not too much. Not like some of my friends.
What about on your chest?
Oh, it's on my chest. It's definitely on my chest. I don't.
Okay.
Some
Sleeve,
of my.
chest.
I have some friends that may be a little bit more pro-black than me as far as showing their feelings. I don't get too emotional about it because, like I always tell
You
you,
don't
I
want to
don't.
go there.
Yeah, right. I don't like being in that type of mind frame.
Right.
So, but you know, I am very aware. You know, so I understand it. And
Leon, you're very pro-black.
I just don't like my it's just that I don't like I don't like being
Do you work
that
in
way.
a black environment?
Right.
Do you
Yeah.
work in a black environment?
Of course I do.
Do you go to a black church?
Oh yeah.
Are you married to a black woman?
Yeah. Yeah, like I'm on trial. Like I don't know I'm pro-black. I'm just talking about people
I would say
I'm talking about people who actually who
you
just,
say that you don't wear it on your sleeve, but you wear it in your walk, brother. And I'm
Yeah.
here to tell
I'm
you.
talking when I say that when I wear it on my sleeve, I'm saying I don't go around. Some people just I think are too emotional about it.
There's no
shows,
such thing as too emotional, brother.
well,
What I would say is
I think it. Let me figure out the right words I want to say. I think
Come on,
it sometimes. I think sometimes people let it get to them and it turns into anger. You know, and
I agree with that. Yeah,
and
I
that is a place that I don't like being. So that I don't. That's all I'm saying. You know.
Well, I think that's when you, in addition to yes, it's okay being pro-black, but also you know, conflict resolution, right? How are you able to express how you're feeling or express how something triggered you without the other person, you know, without being so, I guess, angry about it?
That
is, right? Because it's the other person is not going to receive it because you're angry, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That ain't me. If I fed myself all this stuff and being that way, I know me. I know how I'm gonna be. Like my brother.
Who is your brother?
I call him Pierre.
I think you keep.
I was gonna say, are you gonna be like Dr. Umar?
Shots at me all program.
I mean, try not to say your name, man.
Dr. Umar?
No, him, KP. like he's real animated. Sometimes I gotta pull him off the ledge sometimes to calm down because
really?
You know, in our conversations, he's really
I've never seen him in that light.
That's because he lying.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm talking about. I'm being for real though. I don't like to see my brothers that upset and that emotional about that. We all know what we've been through. We all know. I mean,
not everyone.
But Leon, what I would say is, with a person like me, it's more of my passion.
Yeah, passion. Yeah,
because I have the emotional intelligence to be able to compartmentalize where I need to put things. Mm-hmm. And when I'm in the comfort of my brethren, you're going to get the unadulterated me. And when I'm in the comforts of others, they're going to get a tone version of me. So you, like other personal people in my life that maybe listen to this podcast that are in community with me day to day, I can come across as very, very aggressive or but it's really just my passion. It's just my passion for us. I love us. I love what we do, and I love what we have accomplished, and I love where we can go. And we are not subservient to no person or entity or race. We're just not. And so when you hear me talking, when I get that bravado, it's coming from that place. It's like man, like no, man, no, fuck them. You know, it's us. And so you that's what you receive, and you're not alone. Leon, you're not alone. Other people, all my other friends, they'd be like, man, calm down.
Okay. So yeah. So
nah,
I am
like, hey man, calm down. So you get a very when I come to this podcast or when I'm in certain arenas, I'm more docile. And remember, I told you about the Langston Hughes poem "Warning," the Negro, sweet and docile. I'm sweet and I'm docile, but be aware of the day that I change my mind. And so, so you get to hear what the world doesn't. Because if I'm myself, the world can't accept it. I'm not palatable.
Yeah.
And when
the world hasn't heard it yet.
They heard it. They heard it before. I sound no different than the Honorable Minister of Farrakhan. I sound no different than one of the guys that I idolized was Muhammad Ali, who spoke truth to power, and one of my other heroes being Nat Turner, and Marcus Garvey being a Pan-Africanist. People have heard these things before.
Can you include Dr. Umar in there?
I'm not about to give Dr. Umar no strays. But what I'm saying is, when you listen to James Baldwin talk about the plight of the Black American, and you hear him talk, and you hear Muhammad Ali, and you are my opposer, you won't fight for me, and I'm here, and you want me to go over there and fight these Vietcongs? They ain't done nothing to me. When you listen to Muhammad or you listen to Brother Malcolm speak, I sound like them. So I had to tell friends this, and after they listen to Brother Malcolm, they listen to Muhammad, or they'll listen to a James Baldwin talk, or even W.E.B. Du Bois, and they listen to, or even a Kwame Ture, which commonly known as Stokely Carmichael. When you listen to Stokely Carmichael, who is Kwame Ture, who changed his name, when you listen to him, you listen to Ali, you're talking to me, or even a Fred Hampton. When you listen to them talk, and Fred Hampton was 21 before they took his life. And when you listen to those guys talk, and then you come back, and then I'm more palatable to you, you're like, okay, I'm nothing new under the sun, brother. What has been done is being done today. And so I'm nothing new under the sun. I sound like the people before me, and it is an injustice that I don't invoke their names and I don't invoke the cadence in which they spoke. And that's what you hear from me.
Yeah, but I just don't want you to be angry.
I'm not angry. It sounds, the thing is, it does sound angry, but I'm not.
And the reason I keep saying angry, because I know me. I ain't gonna lie. I will be.
If I drag you over,
I'll be angry. I'm that angry. It's in me. Well, I know it's in me. So that's why I don't.
It is in you, but at 50 years old, now that you made 50, shout out to Leon making 50 this year. when you cross that Rubicon of ageism, which is 45, 50, you develop a certain knowledge base that you've learned more about yourself and how to present yourself. And the most thing that you learn is emotional intelligence and how to compartmentalize anger versus passion. You learn to compartmentalize those things. And I tell you now today, brother, that you will be able to compartmentalize your anger from passion. And so what you hear from me is passion. I'm not angry about anything.
Okay.
And there's that.
If you say so.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but yeah, okay.
Well, because Leon get to hear unadulterated cursing.
Yeah, you haven't heard him, Renee. You haven't heard him.
That's what I said. I said I've never seen him in that light. So, we'll leave that to barbershop talk.
The world will see it soon. But anyway,
the revolution will not be televised.
Period.
Let's go. So it was a clip of this white guy. He said that the next election is already rigged, and this is what he said. Now I don't know if he's giving them ideas. It seems like, because sometimes we can think about what's gonna happen, what could happen, and we put it out there and it's gonna happen, or somebody else might be listening. But he said ICE will be at all the polls in every city in the what's his primary elections.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a primary in 2020, November 2026. Yeah.
Yeah. What he said, what he's saying is people. It's gonna be people ain't gonna want to come out and vote, and he's saying that of course the legal immigrants ain't gonna come out there and vote, and he's saying
Can they
that.
vote?
Well, legal
But
immigrants.
they said they've been saying they've been voting. That's the
No.
thing.
That's not true.
I don't
That's
know.
not true. Leon, you went and voted at a polling
I
station.
don't know. I'm just reporting. I don't know.
No,
I'm just saying.
and you're right. I get it, but
Yeah.
no, Leon, listen. One thing that I get what you're saying. Well, no, finish what you're saying. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all. Go ahead.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Go ahead.
I would say, first of all, illegal immigrants cannot vote. That is a misnomer, and that is a Republican talking point. They cannot vote. And the problem is that I find with everyday Americans who have sixth grade level reading education, that they fail to realize the experience that they experience when voting. When you go to a voting booth or a precinct, the first thing they do is check your ID.
Mm-hmm.
And when they check your ID, they see if you're on the legal voting roll.
But what about the legals? You think they'll show up too, even if they are legal?
Why would they do that?
If they're
The
illegal,
legals.
why would they go?
No,
to
I said the
Why would they
legals, the ones that are legal. Legal,
Well,
not
you're
illegal.
legal. We're legal. So there is that term is subjective when it comes to we're all legal if we can vote. Now, if you're an illegal, one thing about illegal, listen, Leon, you and
I'm
I
talking about the legal. I'm talking about the legal Hispanics or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, I mean they're picking up everybody, whether you're legal or not. So we're all taking a risk, right?
And he said that too. That's what he did.
Well,
say
illegals
that.
can't vote because they're not going to show up on a voter roll
Right.
because they're not going to.
I'm not saying illegals no more. I'm talking about the legals,
Okay.
the legal Hispanics that have their citizenship.
I think now
Good
they
point.
are
Good
because
point.
they're going to want to get these people out so that they can get their, people back.
So I would say this, Leon, and I'm going to get flamed for this.
Oh,
If the legals
Mm-hmm.
are scared to show up and vote in this next primary, good. Because you know why? They vote Republican. So I would implore ICE to be at the voting stations because you know who not scared of them MFers? Us. We're not scared of them. We're not scared. Our ancestors have been through worse in terms of showing up at a voter roll and having armed militias there. We still will show up. And what I'm saying to you is this: if the legal immigrants who predominantly at 60% vote Republican don't show up, that is a plus in our books because maybe we can right the wrong of this ship. So a lot of people are not looking at it this way, but I'm saying if ICE is at the polling agency, I'm showing up. F ICE. I do not give it. The worst they can do is detain me for 3 to 10 days. I'm good. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if the legal community that we're talking about decides that they're not going to show up, good. Because they don't know how to effing vote anyway. Because they're not listening to us. We've been telling them that these people are who they are, and now they're seeing it. And so if they decide to sit this one out, good. Because we're going to show up. ICE is not going to deter Black Americans from showing up to vote. They're not going to deter us from doing that. They may deter the legal citizens that are of the Latin descent. And so I'm not against them. I'm not speaking against them. But what I'm saying is they have notoriously been voting the wrong goddamn way. And so if they're not going to show up because of ICE, good. Because apparently they don't know how to vote. I will vote for Donald.
No. Can't do that.
What can I not do?
And he also mentioned mail-in voting.
The what?
They're attacking mail-in voting. Yeah.
They're taking that away.
Right.
I think I think younger people, you're going to see a higher number of younger people at this midterm.
But he's predicting that that it won't be no it won't be no voting. That's what he's
I mean, they
predicting.
are trying to take it away. Don't
Right.
don't get me wrong, but I just feel
There-
like
there's a
it's gonna be wild.
we're on a precipice of that actually happening.
Mhm.
I am
Because they
50
know they're
50.
going to jail.
I don't believe that we will have I don't believe that we will have a midterm election.
No,
Mhm.
I want to be in December when we're doing our next podcast. I want to be 100% wrong. But I know this administration and what they're trying to do.
Mhm.
And the main thing that they're trying to do, if they can invoke martial law, then they can suspend the election. If they can prove that there is quote unquote voter fraud, they will suspend the election. They're already reducing drop boxes in certain states. They're already requesting voter rolls. They're already strong arming what we saw right there in Fulton County in Georgia.
I'm just about to ask you
Fulton
about that.
County is the blackety county in Atlanta.
Is that's where they said they ran up in and said they were cheating or something? Hiding votes.
Allegedly.
Of course.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Allegedly they saying that's maybe some voter fraud because they're still on this 2020 election. I don't know. I'm still trying to ascertain why they're still litigating the 2020 election. I have my theories, but I will say that they actually got a warrant and they were able to secure the voters registration or the voter ballots that's in Fulton County. Fulton County is the blackest in Georgia. And so they started with that. The precursor to that was in Minnesota. Governor Walz was complaining about ICE, the 3,000 agents being there. Kristi Noem sent a letter to the administration of Walz, and they said, hey, we will, quote unquote, leave if you give us access to your voter rolls. Now, you have to understand that was a precursor to, we didn't get the film, but I knew that they were going to try that in some of these states like Texas, well, I wouldn't say Louisiana, but some of these swing states. And the first swing state that they decide to do that in is in Georgia. And the county that they specifically target, which was Fulton County. Now, they target Fulton County. Obviously, we know the reason because there are a lot of Black people that vote in that county. But I saw this happening. I didn't know it was going to be Georgia, but I saw this happening when Kristi Noem sent the letter to Governor Walz stating that we'll reduce our presence of ICE agents if you give us access to your voter roll.
And move your camera back a little bit. You cutting off half of your head or a piece of your head. There you go.
What about
there
that?
you go. Yeah, that's good.
You call me half head?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, man. I've got to let him see that.
He didn't do it, right? Or did he post it? Did he do it?
Do what?
Provide the voter.
No, he did not. But when I saw that 3 weeks ago, I said, oh, shit. They're about to go after some of these swing states. And sure as shit tell you, they actually went after Fulton County, which was one of the blackest counties in Georgia, to get their voter rolls. And so I knew that would happen, but I just didn't know that it would happen there because I see.
Did they get it though? Did they get the information?
They got their hands on it.
They went up. They showed them going up in there.
No,
I haven't.
Now, the people that are in place, they are trying to go through the legal system to actually fight it. But at this point, they have their hands on it. And so in the next 3 weeks, maybe in the next month, you're going to hear about illegals voting, Black people voting. People should be purged from the votes because there's a guy by the name of Greg Palast. He did this documentary on Vigilantes Inc. Greg Palast, Palast. And he does a great breakdown of actually these elections and how the Republicans are able to do this great voter suppression act. And one of the states in which they did it when Stacey Abrams was running for that state, they were able to purge almost 300,000 voters from the voter roll, and Stacey Abrams lost by less than that. And so Greg Palast does an enormous piece on that, but he also does a piece on what's to happen now. It's phenomenal the work that he does, and I follow this guy so I can keep abreast of what's going on. He talked about what's going on with Minnesota when they're asking for the rolls. Of course, they didn't get them. What does the voter rolls in Minnesota have to do with them having the presence of ICE? I'll tell you. Minnesota has voted since 1972 Democrat.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yes. And so they want to interrupt that. And so that is the premise in which they're doing, because what does the ICE presence and them doing all the things that they're doing have to do with votes? So you have to know this administration in which they move, and that will give you a precursor of how they're going to move throughout the country.
So, he gave a lot of the Somalians until March 31st to go back to Somalia.
They're citizens.
Right. But even the ones that are citizens, but the ones that aren't, right, that are there, what are they going to do with their family? They're going to go with their family. Right.
Well, I get what you're saying. I heard that declaration, but remember, Trump said that he was sending ICE in there for the fraud and the Somalians because they come from a shithole country, and he attacked Ilhan Omar about who she is and how she's always bitching about this country. And so he sent ICE. Originally, ICE went into Minnesota to round up the illegal Somalians, but then they come to find out that the Somalians are actually citizens. And the other thing that they found out, that they were actually prosecuted, 75 of them, maybe 75 to 80 of them were already prosecuted and either in jail or awaiting sentencing. They were already prosecuted for the fraud that Amy Bach, a white lady, actually orchestrated. And so they realized that these people were already citizens and are locked up already. So that's when they turned their attention on to doing the things that they're doing now.
So let me ask you this: as far as a third party, has they ever? Do you think there would ever be a third party, or could there be a third party, or you think a third party would work?
The problem with the third party, man, is they only show up around election time.
I was going to say the same thing. You don't. Where's Jill Stein?
Jill Stein, where are they? Where is Cornel West? They show up to grift. But they don't. It's not viable at this point in our lifetime, Leon. I don't see a viable third party. Would I welcome a viable third party? Absolutely, to break up the monotony of the Democrat and Republicans. I would welcome that. But at this point, a lot of people have tried, but has ended in a dismal.
Why do you think? So you think it has never been because
people only show up? The political machine is just too strong right now to allow a third party candidate and or party to be a representation of America.
Also, what are they doing in the meantime? Like they're not
doing exactly. They only show up in 4 years. You'll see Jill Stein, you'll see the other ones. They only show up during election time, and they don't have a record of what they've been doing in the meantime. So
you don't hear about Cornel West out on, boots on the ground. You don't hear about him doing anything, but all y'all voted for that man during election season.
Man, Cornel West was on CNN last week. Boy, he dropped a bomb on them. He dropped that nigger. He said the Americans is niggerizing America. And so there, when he dropped that, you could see the panel on CNN just they butts got tight because he dropped that word, and then he dropped it later on in his explanation of the niggerizing of America. And I thought it was very poignant, but yeah. So Cornel West is on CNN.
Yeah, I saw it. I think I saw a clip.
What else is he doing?
I didn't watch it.
Besides popping out.
Besides who?
Popping out. Yeah.
No.
How do y'all know that there are like people who's I guess trying to put together third parties? How do y'all know they're not doing nothing that y'all don't see. It's just that they always.
The goal is so that we can
we'll
see
ask
them,
you.
so
We
we can
just need,
support them. You have to
Yeah.
see them to say, how are they going to get money if you don't see them?
we'll
How are
ask
they
you,
gain our
Leon.
support
I
if
don't
we
know. That's why I'm asking y'all.
We'll
Y'all
ask you.
are the historians. I'm not a historian in this voting process or Democrat or Republican.
Well, Leon, I'll ask you, my brother. When have you saw a rush of Jill Stein's where she stands on Venezuela, where she stands on the Trump regime of doing these illegal things that they're doing? Where have you seen her?
Talk about recent. Late?
Yeah. When have you
I haven't
seen
seen
her?
them.
We haven't seen her
Exactly.
since she was on the Breakfast
Yeah.
Club when she was running.
Yeah, I haven't seen them. Yeah.
So you're asking a question that you know the answer to, and my brother, it's just you don't. Those third-party candidates, or you need to look at them as grifters. That's it. That's all they're doing. They're just grifting.
So all these years
Yes.
has
Ross
it,
Perot, all yeah. Go ahead.
I
Ross
think the
Perot?
loudest one has always been Bernie Sanders. I mean, he's the only one that, he'll tweet a few times, he'll say something, but he's more known as far as like speaking out.
So
than
so
any of the
is
other
it,
ones.
do y'all think it is because people won't actually take third party serious, won't get behind them, or
They don't
Third-
take
third-
themselves serious.
Thank you. You took the words right out of my mouth, Renee. You know they don't take themselves serious. So I don't know. I wish I had a better answer for you, brother, but they don't provide a better answer for me to give to you.
I mean, like, for real, where are they?
Now, the political apparatus of today devours them so fast. They never have a chance. They poll at what less than 1%. People vote less than 2%. Third party. You know,
They know exactly.
and in
who's
some
telling you what you wanna
states,
hear. They
and
know
you have
there's
to understand, right? In some
Yeah.
states, third party. In some states, the third party candidate's not even on the ballot.
Yeah, they know what to say. They know it's going to be people that are, walking the line. Get your little money for, the next couple years, and we'll see you soon.
so y'all
So-
just stuck with Democrat and Republican going nowhere.
Yes,
Where else has anybody went?
that's it.
What you mean where it's at? What you mean by that?
No one else is around. Bernie
Yeah.
Sanders made money off of sitting at the White House with his mittens.
With his mittens.
You know how much money he made
During the
off of that?
inauguration.
Please.
Well, make sure y'all go to impelforwardmerch.com, impelforwardmerch.com, all things Impel Forward merch. Go grab you some merch, Impel Forward merch, take action.
Are you having a sale?
It's been a sale. It's been a sale for a good while now.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just letting the people know.
it's a sale.
Buy 2, 3, or 10.
Yeah, it's been a sale. Onyx Drive sweatsuits on sale for $57. A whole sweatsuit for $57. Go
It's a
grab
good
you
deal.
something. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
What's your next topic? What
That-
else you got?
That was it. Really, that's all we had down to talk about. That was
Mhm.
it, really. Y'all have anything else y'all want to talk about? Did we cover everything?
Well, we didn't cover the Epstein files.
I thought about that, man. I was like,
That
oh, do I
is-
really want to talk about this? I was like, man, because it's like what they call it, beat the dead horse. The man said today, he said, I don't know the man's name. One of them, somebody reading. Ain't gonna be no more charges drawn up on nobody. I mean, I'm like, that's
It's too many
Yeah.
high-powered people implicated.
exactly.
It's the Epstein files are so, man, it's so much. It's like drinking through a fire hose. And I know most Americans, we're just sick, we're just tired of it. Like, okay, Trump was there, Epstein was there, Clinton was there.
Mhm.
Along with a whole host of, now today I'm learning Steve Bannon had emails between him and Epstein about Trump and Madeline, the chick who worked for him, but she resigned in disgrace, which they say. but they said that she had a relationship with him. They call her B-pads. It's so much that I can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
I was watching that interview. I put in the chat the interview. It said the last one he did with Steve Bannon.
With Steve Bannon, yeah,
the last one he did. I watched it for a little bit, and they mainly
Well,
was talking about
watched.
the financial system.
Yeah, he
Mainly.
was talking about the financial collapse of 2008, 2009, and how it led up to the subprime. I know about that because I lived it, because I was account executive at the point at that time in the banking industry. I was an account executive at Wells Fargo, and I saw it. Actually, I saw that collapse was going to happen in 2007 because I noticed he said it was on Clinton, but I think it was on Bush. And he said he blamed Clinton because of the subprime.
For everybody to get a house.
That's not entirely accurate, because there was a I can't think if it was Wall. I'm quoting wrong, but I do know that when Bush was in office, after the fact, that there was Ben Bernanke, Alan Greenspan, and one other figure on a newspaper, and they were cutting the red tape of, and it was them with some scissors cutting the red tape of financials. And that opened the way for subprime lending, all of these things that we experienced. I just remember in 2007, right before it collapsed, I was an account executive for Wells Fargo, and I was in the mortgage division. And I remember a lot of our products started at that time, man. You had people that were able to people made $30,000 a year, was able to do, if they had the credit score, they can get a stated loan, and they can get a $400,000 house, and they can get a 228. 228 is a loan product, or a 327 or 525. I remember quoting those rates, and those rates were fixed. A 228, just for the audience, a 228 is a rate that is fixed for 2 years, and it will adjust for the next 28.
Yeah, it's a 5-year. It's a 5-year adjustable rate mortgage.
And if you look at the other ones that I quote, a 327, it'll fix for 3 years, adjust for 27, 525, adjust after 5 years of service. And so, and those rates were very, very low. And so people were getting these homes.
Yeah, that's what he pointed to. That's why he said it was Clinton's fault.
But was it really Clinton's fault?
It wasn't Clinton's fault, man. It was Bush cutting the regulations of the housing. Now, Clinton was probably responsible for the emergence of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, government agencies that would secure loans. But then Bush got in office, and he expanded that by cutting the red tape. So now you got a person that had a 560 score, they can get 100% financing, brother. And if you had a 620, you can do a stated loan.
But let's be honest, if you make $30,000 a year, you know that you cannot afford the upkeep of
you cannot tell that, Renee. You cannot tell that.
During that time, I worked at Merrill Lynch.
Yeah,
right?
You can't tell that to black folks.
So
they're gonna go get that.
I'm about to get that.
You can't tell that to any folk, not just black folks, but any folks, because I worked in era.
Renee, good catch, baby. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
So, yeah.
Because more of them than us were in those subprime loans. I know this for a fact because I worked it, and I was giving mortgages to people. And I noticed I
made a lot of money.
All of us made. Listen, let me tell you something. As a county executive, I was living high on the hall, going, suits, office, and we were making a lot of money.
That's how I was able to buy my house.
Oh, Lord. And so what ended up happening is I started noticing that when I would go out into the field to these mortgage brokers and to some of these other banks presenting the products that we had for Wells Fargo, I started noticing that a lot of our products started disappearing. And you know me, being a black man, we always got our antennas up. And so I started noticing that the 560s, 100% started disappearing and started going to 580 and 620. And a lot of the products that I was selling to brokers to do these loans for these mortgages and representing the company that I work for, I was like, a lot of stuff started disappearing. And I was like, something's about to happen. And obviously, with the packaging, the derivatives, and different things like that, actually, then once finally the bottom fell out, a lot of people, we, including myself, had to reinvent myself. And so we didn't have jobs anymore. And so in 2008, 2009, I had to reinvent myself.
I was just opening up a barbershop in 2008.
I was still there. I had a great CEO who forfeited his income to make sure the whole company still worked until Wells Fargo purchased us.
And that was the company I worked for. Well, they disbanded the mortgage.
Well, not Wells Fargo, Bank of America. Yeah.
Bank of America, yeah. So they disbanded but where we worked, and a lot of us that was living hound and hog for all those years, we had to go find new careers. And so,
yeah, he's what's not Epstein? Yeah, Epstein. He said he was in jail when it was going down, when it was happening.
Yeah, because he wanted to take advantage of it.
He was right along with Bernie, right?
Yeah, he missed the window of taking advantage of the surplus of things to bet against it. I listened to that interview.
Yeah. And people, there's no such thing as 100% financing. It's actually 103 or 105%. So there's that.
Don't be discrediting. Don't be discouraging.
You know what it is. It's not 100%. It's 103, 105%.
Not anymore. It's either 3% down or 5% down, depending on the.
Well, if you get a USDA loan or a VA loan.
But that USDA is always rural, and they give you money to closing and things like that. But who the hell wants to live in a rural area?
So
well, today,
well,
yeah,
it might be good to live in a rural area.
That's what I'm saying. Like today,
the new communities are considered rural until they finish the community. So if you get in there soon enough, you probably could get one until you know.
And to the folks that listen, don't let me. I'm not discouraging you about buying a rural property. Rural property back in the days when I was in the financial industry, rural property was when your comparables were 10 miles or more, and so that would be considered a rural property when a comparable meaning a property that's sold like your property in the last year, 6 months, that will be considered a comparable. When people are doing appraisals, they get 3 comps, and that's when you get an appraisal. Your appraisal is predicated on 3 comparables of properties that are sold that are like yours, that's sold in that range. And if a lender look at that and there's one within 1 mile, and then the next 2 are within 10 or more miles, they will consider that rural. So.
Rule is how things going now. People want to, you know.
So I would say being in a rural development is probably the way to go. You can get more bang for your buck. You can also, if you're thinking smart enough, buy your nice acre, 208 by 208, and then you can actually be self-sufficient. If you want to be off grid, you get you some chickens and you get you some meat rabbits, and maybe some cattle, and maybe some goats, and get you some solar panels. And
that is the ideal situation.
Yeah, you can probably sustain what's about to happen, because I think what's probably about to come down the pipe is going to be where we're going to have to be self-sustainable. Now, is this foreign to Black folks? No. Or is it an idea for us as Leon and Renee is bougie? It's not ideal for Renee and Leon, but they'll do it.
Do what?
Be off-grid sustainable.
Look, let me tell you something.
Water, growing vegetables.
If I could do it now, I'll do it now. If
I can picture Leon more than me.
I definitely would do it.
No, Renee, no. You fashion. You listen. You runway ready at all times.
I can picture Leon doing it more than me. I'll be like, oh.
I can see Leon. I can see myself doing it, becoming self-sustainable, off-grid, rural area, nice place, but still access to the city. I can see that.
And I was once before, or we was once before, but things happen. Yeah,
things happen, but. Other than that, man, there is no other things as far as that.
Yeah, them Epstein files, they're gonna be around for a while. I guess.
Epstein, yeah, the
We'll talk
Epstein
about them.
files.
Ain't nothing gonna happen. They're not gonna do nothing to nobody.
No, nothing. No, nothing's gonna happen. As far as Trump, what's going on? I mean, there's nothing more to discuss. He's running roughshod over the government. If we want to discuss how he's able to do it, I think that's another podcast. But I will say that votes matter. Votes matter, huh?
So he did just assign that new Fed chair, which he'll take over in what, May?
Yeah, but that's because Jerome Powell thing ends. But
yeah,
when you hear a lot of people talk about, man, my vote don't matter, it does matter, because obviously we're seeing the reason. And one of the things that Trump did upon his first day was do executive orders. And one of those executive orders was Schedule F, right? And this is going to pertain to our Black women. Schedule F was giving him the authority to mass fire people within the civil servants that working within, let's just say, whatever 3-letter you want on the FBI, CIA, SC,
DEA,
any 3 letters that you can name. DOJ, Schedule F granted him the permission to mass fire civil servants and replace them with sycophants or loyalists. So when people say votes don't matter, maybe our partner that's in our group chat, if he never realized this, but Trump, that was an overreach, and that is not constitutional, but he did it, and he's able to do that. And so that's why we're seeing a lot of what we would consider overreach in the government is just par for the course at this point. Yeah. Because any of those letters that you can name, those 3 letters, so a lot of people were like, well, with the Epstein files, why didn't Biden release the Epstein files? Obviously, there was an ongoing investigation at the time, so he really couldn't. But after that thing had concluded, Biden, much like the Democrats, which is why I have my problem with them, because they're soft. Well, I shouldn't say they're soft, but the DOJ, the FBI, the CIA are independent agencies of the executive branch. It was set up that way so that we would not have this overreach where the executive branch could lord over these symbols of what I'm telling you, the 3 letters, whatever 3 letters you want to name. And when he did that executive order, which was Schedule F, that gave him let me say this parenthetically, that the president is allowed to appoint directors over the letters, FBI, CIA, SEC, all those things. He's allowed to appoint it, but they act independent of the executive branch. Well, at this point, because of Schedule F, and it gave him reign to do these things, that's why he's doing what he's doing. And so when people are trying to understand how is he able to get these things done, because he has overreach himself through Schedule F, where he was able to fire a lot of Black women and Black men, and that's why he was able to do it. And but I just want to make sure that we pointed that out in terms of the Epstein files. Epstein files. Listen,
that's the drink you've been drinking.
That's the liquid. Yeah. And that's how he's able to overreach. And so I just wanted to point that out. When people see this and they'd be like, well, y'all didn't talk much about the Epstein files and why Biden didn't, well, Biden didn't. And I just explained the reason being Schedule F that President Trump signed upon his first day in office. And we can get into the legalities of, unitary executive theory, which is what they're using now. But I guess we'll say that for another podcast, and I'll go on a rant talking about unitary executive theory, and which is false, but it's some shit they made up that they're doing now. But until then,
like I always keep saying, how I don't see how they're been able to do what they're doing if it's everything is against the law, what they're doing.
Because they know
It's-
they're going to jail.
because in an authoritarian regime you can rewrite the law. Your unitary executive theory was in Project 2025, and so they talked about this, and so so that's why he's able to do the things that he's doing. So
yeah. Well, make sure you go to impelforwardmerch.com. That's impelforwardmerch.com. All things Impel Forward Merch. Grab you something, represent, take action. And there you have it for another episode of the Impel Forward podcast. And remember, seize the opportunity to grasp your dreams. Peace.
peace.